Hello, and welcome to our second annual Momentum event. My name is Greg Soretsky, Board Chair, Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism. I'd like to start by thanking you for joining us here today as we continue on our journey to awaken Canada to the importance of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo. I had hoped to be able to join you in person in the region. However, I'm honored to be joining you virtually from sunny Southern California, which really isn't too bad. Our region faced three simultaneous crises this year: the COVID-19 pandemic, low oil prices, and the spring flood. Our strategy going into 2020 was adapted to include responses to these three crises, but has fundamentally stayed the same. One of our main priorities was to steward our region's place brand. The place brand will ignite our strong community pride and deepen the sense of belonging for all who call Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo home. Economically, our place brand campaign will contribute to regional growth as it makes it easier to attract businesses, investment, visitors, and labor to our region. More than ever, we need to champion this together and use our unified voices to celebrate what makes Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo so truly special. Let's take a look at the place we're proud to call home.
What do you call a place where the natural playground is as limitless and diverse as the people? A place that's built for families to thrive in. A place with incredible economic opportunities for everyone. A place with a history of solving the biggest problems. A place with remarkable Indigenous strength. A place where community supports one another like family. A place that understands it's our togetherness that makes us unstoppable. What do you call that place? We call it Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo. And we can't wait to welcome you here.
Hello, I'm Jordan Hurtner, and I'm honored to be your MC for our virtual Momentum 2020 event. Well, it's been quite the year. That may be an understatement, but I hope wherever you are, you're doing well and staying safe, and thank you for joining our one-hour program. We'd like to begin by honoring our land, and we'll pass things over to Allison Flett, a member of the Mikisew Cree First Nation, who's up in Abasant.
Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism acknowledges Treaty 8 territory, ancestral and traditional land of the Cree, Dene, and Métis people. We are thankful for these borrowed lands along with the traditional teachings and lessons of resilience they offer us in the spirit of maintaining good relations with others for future generations. As long as the sun shines, the river flows, and the grass grows, we will honor these lands.
Thank you for that land acknowledgement, Allison. Well, before we get into our full program, I want to share more about what we have in store for you today because we have a full lineup. And in 2020 fashion, these messages are being delivered from many screens throughout Alberta, as well as even as we just saw from Greg Suretsky, sunny California, which didn't look too bad. So we're going to begin with remarks from the mayor, followed by a message from Bill Ludit, CEO, McMurray Metis, an address from Kevin Weidlich, President and CEO of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism. And then we have a much anticipated keynote from Wes Jickling, Chief Executive of Canada's Oil Sands Innovation Alliance, and an address from the Premier of Alberta. So we have a lot to get to, and we also have a fantastic giveaway. 2 round-trip flights with a chance to supersize your win. So we'll have all of those contest details coming up later in the show, but to kick us off, please welcome Mayor Don Scott.
Thanks, Jordan, and hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of Momentum 2020. I'd like to begin by recognizing that we are in Treaty 8 and unceded Métis territory, the traditional lands of the Cree, Dene, and Métis peoples. Each year, Momentum provides an opportunity to explore our priorities and economic strategy and reflect upon the highlights of the year. What a year it's been. Through it all, our community spirit and resilience has continued to shine, and Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism has continued to transform, grow, and pivot to meet the opportunities head-on. And now we're ready to share our story. We're awakening Canada to the importance of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo. The simple reality is that the oil sands contribute to the daily lives of all Canadians, whether or not they know it. And every part of the country has seen the benefits of oil sands development through job creation, economic activity, and advances in science and technology. Oil and gas will be an essential part of the global economic recovery. Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo, the heart of the oil sands, will be front and center in this opportunity to support Canada's economy. Of course, economic development and tourism has already been spearheading and supporting recovery efforts in our community. From proactive initiatives such as the Business Recovery Task Force and Wood Buffalo Local Vendors List, economic development and tourism has been deeply involved in several community-driven programs. Early on, they were tasked with creating a place brand, and it's exciting to see it come to fruition. The Place brand does an incredible job of showcasing the strengths and assets of the region and revealing what may be unexpected to some, that Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo is a place for families, a place of innovation, a place of natural wonder, a place of strong community spirit, a place of incredible economic opportunity, a place of diversity, and a place of remarkable Indigenous strength. We've been Canada's best kept secret for years, and I can't wait for the rest of the country to finally see what we've known all along. Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo is a great place to call home. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our community partners for their important contributions and engagement. Above all, I want to thank Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism for providing innovative programming and supports to promote the region's economic recovery and success. Thank you all for participating in Momentum 2020 and for leading the charge as we awaken Canada to the importance of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo.
Hello, I'm Bill Ludit, the Chief Executive Officer of the McMurray Métis. The Métis people have lived in this region for centuries. Our roots run deep within our connection to the land and with Indigenous culture that is thriving. We look forward to working with Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism in showcasing our home and traditional Treaty 8 and unceded Métis territory. This is a very exciting time for the McMurray Métis. As we talk about momentum, things are really moving along for the Métis Cultural Centre. This past fall, we held the groundbreaking ceremony when we turned the soil on McDonald Island, where the stunning centre and surrounding grounds will be built. This is a highly accessible area of the region, and we hope that the Métis Cultural Centre will act as a beacon, attracting people from all over the world. Starting in the spring of 2021, heavy construction will begin, and we will watch dreams become reality as our elders, whose families grew up on the land, get to see this world-class architectural design come to life. The Métis Cultural Centre will quickly become a pivotal place in the Wood Buffalo region for sharing traditional knowledge, skills, training, collaboration with stakeholders of all kinds. Not only will it highlight the history of the Métis people through the Interpretive Centre, it will provide another gathering space to host events and conferences and offer different programs. We hope the indoor activities and the learning opportunities and the beautiful landscaping will keep many visitors making multiple visits to the Métis Cultural Centre year-round. With the economic challenges due to the pandemic and the global oil price drop, the Fort McMurray community needs not only positivity, jobs, and economic infusion from this investment, but also the ethno-tourism that will come with world-class design of the new Métis Cultural Centre. We are committed to the centre with our banking partner ATB Financial, and I suspect that the budget will rise to $30 million by the end of the project. The Métis Cultural Centre will also create employment opportunities, especially for Indigenous people, over the next 3 years, and support our local and provincial economies. The facility is scheduled to open in 2023. What a monumental event we have to look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Scott and Bill Ludit, for your remarks. Well, Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism has had quite the year. And to share some of our achievements, please welcome in Kevin Weidlich, President and CEO.
Thank you, Jordan, for taking on the role of MC. You're doing a wonderful job. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone tuning in today to Momentum 2020. Even though the event is different this year, it's important to continue connecting during these times. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all of our local officials for their hard work and continued support of this region, our Municipal Council, our MLAs Tani Yao and Leila Goodridge, and our MP, David Yurdiga. I'm coming up on my second year anniversary living in the region, and this place has become home for myself, my wife Gayleen, and our 3 sons. As a family, we're just beginning to explore everything this region has to offer, from skiing to bike riding and our endless nature trails. I may have been able to squeeze a few rounds of golf in too. Bears, foxes, and deer all in the same round of golf. At least twice, I think. We really are nestled in the forest. This event is an important opportunity for our organization to share with you, our stakeholders, community members, and partners, what we've accomplished and what we're working on. I'd like to start by acknowledging our committed and hard-working board members. Thanks to our Board of Directors' strategic guidance, we have a strong foundation to continue creating lasting value for our region. Now a thank you to the strong, hard-working team around me. This year has been challenging, but they've risen to the occasion, delivering on our priorities while also supporting business recovery. Today, myself and the leadership team will speak to our organization's changes, the business recovery efforts we've undertaken, and how we've delivered on our priorities. You may have noticed we've taken on a new corporate name and identity. Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism, which is inspired by the Place brand. Our organization will always lead with the Place brand, as proactively championing our region's identity and reputation will make it easier to attract businesses, investment, visitors, and labor to our region. Our name change reinforces the importance of both economic development and tourism as one organization and the economic development approach that we take to tourism. We are responsible for growing and promoting investment into the region, supporting the growth of startups and existing businesses, and generating tourism and visitation to the region. Our focus is on creating wealth for Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo, measured as economic impact. The world is facing an unprecedented challenge with COVID-19. It has created a fundamental shift in how we do business, not just in our region, but across the globe. As we begin navigating this crisis, our region's economy was affected by record low oil prices, and our community experienced a historic flood. In addition to our mandate and priorities, we were able to respond and support business recovery in the following ways. We hosted 7 virtual roundtables with a total of 444 participants. Topics included employment law, crisis communications, DRP funding, and safety. We established a business recovery task force to research and recommend programs and supports to inform a business recovery plan. The task force was comprised of local leaders representing a cross-section of the region's business community. Thank you to each of the task force members for your dedication and time. Business recovery takes all of us working together. The task force launched a safety-focused campaign to encourage and promote a commitment to reopening our economy safely. Together, we developed a task force report summarizing recommendations to support business recovery. This guided the business community-led recovery plan. The The plan summarizes recommended actions and strategies to support our region's business and economic recovery. During flood recovery, in partnership with business support organizations, we encouraged residents to strongly consider local companies for flood-related services for mitigation, remediation, restoration, and construction. And we funded Community Futures, the Chamber of Commerce, NABA, and the Construction Association to deliver important projects that will help with business recovery. Through this all, we are laser focused on our priorities to ensure that we are ready for when the economy reopens. The leadership team will now walk you through the highlights for each pillar from the year. Over to you, team.
Hi, I'm Andrea Haley, Director of Brand and Corporate Services. One of the primary reasons our organization was formed and our top priority for the year was to steward the development of our region's place brand, Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo. The place brand is extremely important for our region as it is our competitive identity, how we will compete with other places and market our region externally. It is a strategic approach to support regional development and growth, as it will make it easier to attract businesses, investment, visitors, and labor from across the country and around the world. We would like to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for your passion for our community. Thank you for the time you have invested in making this true to us. And thank you so much for caring about every detail and nuance. The place brand is authentic because of you. We did this together, and I hope it instills a pride in our place for you as it does for me. I'm so grateful to live here and call this place home. Before marketing externally, it is crucial that we adopt the place brand locally first. Right now, we are introducing the place brand to our region with a hyper-local marketing campaign that celebrates the place we're proud to call home. We've also launched an online community toolkit with videos, images, and language to arm our residents and businesses with everything they need to market the region themselves. We will also be hosting online place brand labor attraction and retention workshops to support employers and human resource professionals with their labor recruitment efforts. This work will continue into 2021, and we encourage you to reach out for more information on upcoming dates. Something we learned in all of our engagements is just how passionate our community is and how much everyone wants to help and be involved. That is why part of the local place brand campaign includes a regional viewfinder that gives you the opportunity to share what makes you proud to call this place home. Watch for it in the mail, and don't forget to use the hashtag MyFMWB. We are at the very beginning of this journey together, and we look forward to building out the place brand with you.
I'm Michael Seeger, Vice President of Tourism for our region. Our priority this year was to create a meetings and convention sales strategy. Although COVID-19 has delayed our launch and changed the industry landscape, we have successfully completed the foundational work to prepare our destination for this market. Our launch in early 2021 will raise the profile of our region as one that will be market ready to host meetings and conventions, driving delegate visitation and economic impact to our region when this sector rebounds. Hyperlocal marketing has become our main focus. Arming residents with what our region has to offer is a crucial step in preparing for marketing outside of the region for tourist visitation. You may have seen our Explore Our Big Backyard campaign. This campaign included a 4-part video series showcasing our summer-fall attractions. With over 500,000 views, awareness of tourism in our region is an all-time high, and timing is perfect. We partnered with Fort McMurray Airport Authority to support their attraction of new direct air service to our region. We are pleased to be a part of the success with the direct connections to Toronto and Vancouver with Flair Airlines. To curate new experiences for our region, a great way to find and develop tourism operators is hosting familiarization tours. These tours are designed to inspire, develop, and support new and existing tourism operators in our region. In March of this year, we did a discovery tour to Yellowknife for local stakeholders and partners to see firsthand the opportunity of activating the Northern Lights experience in our region. After attending this tour, Andrew Lake Lodge launched a Northern Lights package and has already seen bookings. We also did a product discovery tour for fishing and hunting lodges and the ATV sand dunes. This tour was crucial in establishing the market readiness and marketability of 4 northern lodges and exploring the potential on the sand dunes. Keep an eye out early next year as our region will be highlighted on the television show Canada in the Rough. Filming occurred in October at Gypsy Lake Lodge for our episode that will be aired on over 30 US, Canadian, and international networks. What's next? winter, and so many new adventures to explore in our big backyard.
I'm Lisa Sweet, Director of Business and Investment Attraction. My team's job is to promote the amazing opportunities that exist in our region to new retailers, investors, and developers. We do this by attending targeted conferences and trade shows that allow us to build relationships and network with potential investors. We give formal presentations about our region to investors, and we conduct familiarization or FAM tours, which is an opportunity for us to truly showcase the economic opportunities that exist in our region. Our priority this year was to pursue targeted retail and commercial opportunities. We started strong in 2020. During the International Council of Shopping Centers conference, we were able to build strong connections with many exciting retailers. This led to a feature article in the Retail Insider magazine, which is distributed nationwide and provides retailers with insights into new investment opportunities. We presented to 25 trade commissioners who seek out foreign direct investment globally. We shared with them the story of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo and the potential opportunities in this region. We also conducted a FAM tour to a potential investor, which led to a $7.7 million investment here. As with most things, COVID-19 has had significant impacts on investment decisions on a global scale. Therefore, we shifted our focus towards preparing so that when investment starts again, we are ready. An important element of an investment decision is having access to relevant and timely research and information. One thing investors look to understand is the local labor market, the gaps, and the opportunities that exist. Our team, in partnership with 11 regional stakeholders, is currently undertaking a regional labor study. The outcome of this study will provide a forecast of anticipated labor market demands over the next 5 years. If you are an employer in our region, I encourage you to participate in the online survey. In 2021, we look forward to continuing to build upon this research, and we will be conducting a business gap analysis. Together, these two research projects will help inform our plans to create a strategic, competitive approach for continuing to attract investment to Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo for years to come.
I'm Natasha Hartson, Director of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and it's been an exciting year for our pillar. Inspired by the Wood Buffalo Regional Innovation Network, this year we set out to create Startup YMM, a flexible, creative, inspiring space where we plan to expose entrepreneurs to new ideas and practices for starting and scaling their business, as well as creating a community of like-minded individuals. As you can imagine, we anticipated a different kind of launch for Startup YMM. But like any good entrepreneur, we had to pivot our plans, and in July of this year, we launched virtually. We set a goal of 50 members by the end of the year, and we were thrilled to see the entrepreneurial spirit of this community, and we far exceeded our expectations with over 90 members to date. A major focus for our team is providing programs that offer inspiration, guidance, resources, skills, and connections. In 2020, our team hosted a total of 63 events, seminars, and workshops with over 1,300 participants. We were excited to pilot, in partnership with Launch, one of our core programs, LEAP, standing for Lean Entrepreneur Accelerator Program. This 5-week, 25-hour intensive course takes entrepreneurs through the key building blocks needed for launching, funding, and growing a successful startup. So far, we have 13 entrepreneurs complete the program. These entrepreneurs not only gained valuable knowledge, they are now connected with a peer group that can help support them on their journey to building and growing their business. We look forward to continuing to provide top quality programming in 2021, including the launch of a formal mentorship program. We are pleased to share that we are putting on the final touches to our physical startup space. We cannot wait to open the doors as soon as it is safe to do so. This space will offer thinkers, inventors, and doers a place to work alongside each other, connecting and building a community. There will be access to drop-in workspace, private meeting rooms, an education space, as well as a tech maker space. What is a tech maker space? It will provide members with access to equipment and resources to tinker, learn, and test out their tech ideas. It will include things such as 3D printers, laser cutters, coding tools, VR headsets, robotics, and more. So whether you have an idea for a business, want to play with a new technology, pivot your existing business, or connect with like-minded folks in the region, I invite you to join the Startup YMM community today. Visit our website, startupymm.ca, to learn more.
2021 will be a difficult year ahead. Many businesses will struggle throughout the year, and even with recently announced federal stimulus packages, there may not be enough for businesses to make it through the pandemic. We'll continue to work with business support organizations throughout Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo on the challenges that businesses are facing and come up with solutions. Many of the business support projects that we announced earlier this year with our partners are underway and will continue through to the end of 2021. We have a unique opportunity in 2021 to figure out the path ahead for the next several years. The recent announcements that Canadians will have a vaccine by the fall means that we now have an end in sight to the pandemic. Now is the time to figure out our priorities for after the pandemic. In January, we will begin creating a new 5-year economic development strategy. We will work with businesses throughout Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo to develop the plan for beyond the pandemic. If we use the time now to think about the future and prepare for what a post-pandemic world has in store for us, we'll all be better off. We're already well underway with our research. We launched our labor strategy last week. We started our meetings and convention strategy last month, and we are about to conduct a detailed business inventory gap analysis to truly understand our current business environment. All 3 of these efforts, plus the research available to us from across the country, will prepare us to create a robust economic development strategy that will be created by this community. We will have the 5-year economic development strategy in place before the end of 21, so that we are really ready for a post-pandemic world. We will continue to promote our region's place brand to targeted audiences throughout 2021. Now that we have the foundation of our marketing efforts in place, it's time to choose to whom and where our efforts should be focused. Now is the time to get the attention of potential investors so that when they are ready, they will truly understand the advantages that Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo has to offer. Now that Startup YMM is up and running, we'll offer programs for entrepreneurs and existing businesses so they can start new ventures here. Whether virtual or in person, we are ready. In 2021, you will hear us talk a lot about competitiveness and innovation. We need to constantly remind ourselves that Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo competes on a world stage. Our oil sands producers are taking every measure that they can to reduce costs. This is daunting, and it means significant change to the way industry and the entire supply chain operates. The recent consolidation of the industry means that they are focused on making those changes to ensure the long-term viability of our region's and Canada's most important business sector, the oil sands. This is why it's important for oil sands producers to accelerate their adoption of advanced technology and increase their productivity. They simply can't afford not to. Our oil sands producers are competing with jurisdictions across the entire world that have much lower cost structures than we do. We simply need to get better at providing cost efficiency. Automated systems for oil sands production are here to stay, and the adoption of artificial intelligence by all sectors of our local economy is taking place today. 5G technology is right in front of us, and it will change the way we all do business. We better get ready for it. And while getting more efficient is as important as ever, new technology will also lead to new products. Exciting innovations in the production of carbon fiber using the oil sands has the potential to increase the value of every barrel of oil by more than 4 times. And this is just one example of game-changing technology that will benefit our region. We all need to be ready. Important partners like Keynote College, the Oil Sands Community Alliance, Alberta Innovates, and the Canadian Oil Sands Innovation Alliance all have critical roles to play. We as a community must embrace these initiatives and ensure that our region has full economic participation. We are just scratching at the surface of what's in store for our region. Yes, we know that times are tough right now. We also know that the pandemic will end. Now is the time to get ready for the future.
Thank you, Kevin. It's now time to hear our keynote address, Wes Jickling, Chief Executive with Canada's Oil Sands Innovation Alliance, who's coming to us today, all the way from Calgary.
Hi, my name is Wes Jickling, and I'm the Chief Executive of Canada's Oil Sands Innovation Alliance, or COSIA for short. Thank you so much to Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo for including me and COSIA in this conference. I think we've got a great story to tell and share with you about the innovation, the technology, the research and development that Canada's oil sands companies are doing to improve their environmental performance. This is a talk, or I've given talks like this to many audiences and organizations in Canada over the past year, even in the US and even further abroad, just because we do have such an interesting and proud story to tell about the lengths to which and the extent to which oil sands companies are committed to improving their performance in water, in land, in tailings, and in greenhouse gas emissions. Those are the 4 priority areas of COSIA. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about COSIA, how we're leading the world in clean tech innovation, and hopefully leave with you some stories that you'll find interesting and will stick with you. COSIA really is a group of Canadian oil sands companies. They're shareholders. There's 9 of them. They represent over 90% of oil sands production. And these 9 companies got together. It was originally created in 2012. And at that time, and still today, it's built on the principle that the oil sands companies can go faster, we can go further, and we can achieve better outcomes if we work together on environmental challenges. The acknowledgement was that all of the oil sands companies share a similar set of challenges or technical and scientific questions as it relates to the environmental protection and environmental performance in the oil sands. And so they created COSIA as a place where they could collaborate. 9 competitors could collaborate together, work together on these shared problems or these shared challenges, and do more research, do it faster, get better outcomes. Better, faster, further, together is the tagline that we use internally. A couple of interesting things to point out before we get into some of the stories and some of the examples of technology at COSIA. It's unique in the world. It's one of a kind, and I'll tell you why. It's a group of competitors. These oil sands companies are publicly listed companies that are in competition. But when it comes to the environment, when it comes to improving the way that we manage water, land, tailings, and GHG, they collaborate. They share intellectual property. They share technology. They share their experts. They allow experts to talk to one another, share technical information. They pool their research budgets and do more research together and do it faster. You just don't see that level of collaboration, of working together, of common purpose in other industries anywhere else in the world that we're aware of. So very proud of that. Internally, we say this is a very Canadian approach to clean tech innovation. It's competitors cooperating and collaborating like nowhere else. It's all about the environment. And that just seems very Canadian and very proud of the model that we have. Our approach is really twofold. There's 2 ways that we collaborate, or the way that we lead the world in innovation, so to speak. One is, that internal collaboration where we share information and technologies and co-fund projects together with, sharing that technology between the companies, the competitors. That's really that inward-looking innovation. The second kind of innovation that we pursue as part of our model is what we would call going out and finding the best and brightest, this external collaboration, where we know the shared set of technical questions and challenges that we have related to the environment. And because we know those, we can go out and find the best and brightest innovators, whether they are university academics or experts or academics working at colleges in Alberta, across Canada, across the world, and also entrepreneurs and technology companies. We would also put in that category of innovators. So we have this inward-looking sharing model, and then we have this outward-looking seeking out the best and brightest model. Maybe just some information about, at a high level, of what we've achieved as an alliance. All of this inward looking and exchange of technologies and sharing of technologies, the cost of that has been $1.6 billion. That's the cost of the technologies that have been shared by COSIA companies. That's almost 1,100 technologies that have been developed and shared amongst the members. We currently have 225 technology and research and development projects going on. The value of those is about 620 million Canadian dollars. It's a ton of research. It's something to be proud of. This is where, these are the numbers, I guess, that show you the extent to which the collaboration is occurring. Secondly, it's important to talk about not just how much money we're spending and the number of projects that we're doing together. It's also very important to talk about what have we accomplished? What has all this meant as far as environmental performance improvements? After all, that's what COSIA is focused on, is environmental performance. And so I would just point out maybe two areas of improvement where we're quite proud of our track record. One is on fresh water use intensity, talking about in situ production, which is about roughly half of oil sands production occurs from in situ facilities. We've reduced fresh water use intensity, so the fresh water used for every barrel of oil produced has reduced by about 46%. 46% less fresh water used for each barrel of oil produced. That's come down since 2012. 18% reduction on the mining side. In mining, the net water use intensity per barrel of oil produced has reduced by 18%, so about a fifth since 2012. Very proud of that progress, which is largely attributable to innovation and collaboration amongst the oil sands producers. The second area which I'll mention is GHG. Obviously a big area of focus for the country, the Canadian public, media, governments. With respect to the oil sands, we'll look at the decade 2009 to 2018. And what it shows us is that, again, it's an intensity measure. So the GHGs, the greenhouse gases emitted per barrel of oil produced, has reduced by 20%. 20% reduction from 2009 to 2018 in the amount of GHGs emitted per barrel produced. That, again, is attributable to technology, innovation, research and development, and collaboration. And we're very proud of that track record. Looking ahead, we know that there's more to do. We know that we need to improve and significantly reduce emissions further. And the technologies in the next decade ahead, forecasted by some market analysts, is 16 to 23% further reduction in intensity by 2030. These are very meaningful reductions based on technology and innovation. And you see that commitment, you see that dedication to significant GHG reduction. A number of our members, a number of the Canadian oil sands companies have committed in a very public way their intention to reduce emissions significantly, in some cases to net zero. Very proud of that. What I wanted to do now is talk, how are we doing this? So COSIA exists since 2012. We have this world-leading model and all of this research and track record, but what does it look like? What exactly are we doing? How are we doing this? I think that's important, and there's a few stories and examples here I'd like to leave you with. The first area that I wanted to talk to you about is water and how we work together on water, how we develop new technologies and approaches to reduce water use, to reduce the fresh water use from the Athabasca River and its tributaries, and how we can improve the energy efficiency with which we handle water, thereby reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So the first one I wanted to tell you about is a really cool facility that we call the Water Technology Development Center. And that is what I would call, and maybe oversimplify it a little bit, it's a plug-and-play test center for technology. If a technology is developed that is believed to be capable of, doing a better job at water treatment or removing oil or managing wastewater or doing things in a more energy efficient way with respect to water management, this is a test center, 5,000 square meter test center It's on Suncor's Firebag site, where the technology can be plugged in and used so that the developers and the oil sands companies can see how the technology performs, what needs to be improved, what's working, what's not working. It really accelerates that process of developing oftentimes very complex technologies. Having a dedicated site for that is extremely important. This is a COSIA initiative. Again, it is on a Suncor site, but it is shared across a number of companies funded and developed through COSIA. Very proud of that. The second one I would like to tell you about in terms of water is Base Mine Lake. This is a project focused on pit lake research, and essentially it's to establish pit lakes as a safe and effective aspect of oil sands mining reclamation. It's the first commercial scale pit lake in the oil sands, and it's located at Suncor's base plant in Syncrude's Base Mine Lake. So the objectives here, in the short term, the objectives are to show that water capping tailings technology works, tailings stay below the water cap, and the water quality improves over time. Longer term, the objectives of this project are that pit lakes are part of closure landscape, forests, wetlands, lakes, and that these lakes get reclamation certificates from government. So there's a huge body of research there. There's a number of companies collaborating, developing their knowledge, and assessing the effectiveness of this technology, which is quite promising. Moving then to the second area of priority for us, and that's the land priority area. Our objective or our aspiration when it comes to land is to be world leaders in land management, restoring the land and preserving biodiversity of plants and animals. And that's really what drives us in our work in terms of the land research and development that occurs through COSIA. Specifically, some of the things we're trying to do is accelerate reclamation, right? Bring forests and all the plants and animals back as quickly as possible, finding new ways, using science and research to do that. With a special focus on species of management concern. And so one of the interesting approaches we've used here is we've been looking for ways to reduce the impact on land of seismic exploration. When we go out and we try and understand the quality and location and characteristics of the underground reserves of oil sands, how can we do that with a minimum amount of land disturbance, where traditionally it's been used with long cut lines? Is there a way to do that with significantly reduced impact on land, or potentially even zero land disturbance? What we've found as we've gone out and sought out these best and brightest is a number of interesting innovators and technologies have come forward, which we're currently looking at and evaluating. Very interesting approach. The second one, which I'll really quickly mention, is faster forests. And I've alluded briefly to this one already. But it's really about, the science and the approaches and techniques and best practices to get boreal forest and all of its biodiversity reclaimed faster. To get this from, once it's disturbed by oil sands producers, to get that accelerating to site recovery. There's a tremendous amount of research, which I won't get into here, a number of academics and companies, again, all collaborating, working closely together to better understand this, to better understand the possibility and how best to achieve that. Next up, I'd like to move to our third area, which is tailings. As most, if not all of you will know, tailings is a byproduct of any mining process anywhere in the world, whether that's potash or gold or zinc or copper or oil sands. In this case, tailings is the byproduct of the mining process. In this case, it's water, sand, clay, and some residual bitumen left over after the bitumen has been extracted from the resource. And it's an area of particular priority for oil sands mining companies. There's been $10 billion spent on oil sands tailings technologies and treatments, technologies in the application of those in the oil sands. The company spend about $50 million a year on research and development. A lot of that happens through COSIA. And one of the big challenges is how to de-water tailings. How do you get the water out so that this becomes a substance of clay and sand that can be moved and moved around and used for land reclamation purposes. How do you do that more quickly and effectively? And one of the technologies that we're working on right now is called filter press technology. And essentially what's happening here is a number of companies, COSIA companies, are working together to test out how to use mechanical force to dewater the tailings. And what we're finding is that we can remove up to 75% of the water, dewater by 75% the tailing stream using filter press technology. And what that means is it's happening in a couple of hours instead of a number of years. That's how long the dewatering process will take. Encouraging early findings. It's a pilot demonstration project going on for many years now, showing promise, and we're excited about the ongoing results we're learning from that project. You know, there's multiple other tailings technologies that could be mentioned here, one being the PASS technology, which is one that Suncor's piloting at Meewasin Lake. Maybe moving then to greenhouse gases, number of technologies again here that we're working on, too many to mention, literally hundreds that we could choose from. It's an area of significant focus, again, in the media, Canadian public, Canadian governments, provincial governments, focused on a significant reduction of GHG from across all industries and in the oil sands. A number of projects underway here. I think it's important to point out that there's no single silver bullet technology that's going to significantly reduce emissions all on its own. It's going to take a number of technologies or a portfolio of technologies to accomplish that. And a few interesting examples that we have. Maybe I'll just mention one, which we're quite proud of, is GHGSat. GHGSat is the name of a Montreal-based satellite technology company whose business is and technology is to put satellites in space that orbit the Earth, and they measure in real time and at high resolution methane emissions from facilities, obviously on the Earth's surface. The oil sands companies, through COSIA, have been involved with GHGSat from the very beginning of its life. So in 2015 or 2016, the first generation of GHGSat satellite went up and started orbiting the oil sands every 2 weeks. Again, trying to get a reading in real time and at high resolution of methane emissions from the mine face and from tailings ponds. I think that's significant. That's a very early stage technology with a long journey to be fully fleshed out, fully functional, perfected technology. There's a lot of iteration, a lot of refining, a lot of work and data validation that needs to go into these kinds of new early stage technologies. The oil sands have been there from the start, working with clean tech company to get this technology up to speed, validating the data, using this as a real tool to better understand, accurately understand methane emissions from oil sands facilities. Very proud that it's the Canadian oil and gas, Canadian oil sands industry that was there from the start. The second one of those satellites went up this summer of 2020. So now there's 2 satellites covering the oil sands, and hopefully that number will continue to grow in years ahead. I think that's just one example. There are others, including the X Prize Foundation, or the COSIA X Prize competition. And obviously lots of stories we could tell, but I think that one, it really just captures the lengths to which the oil sands are going to improve their environmental performance, to measure their impact on the environment, to really engage in this continuous improvement in environmental performance. Maybe my last point, and again, it's a very Canadian point that I think is often and maybe easily overlooked, but this is oil sands monitoring. The oil sands monitoring program that looks at the Athabasca oil sands region, the Cold Lake oil sands region, and the Peace River oil sands region. There are 1,095 individual monitoring sites in that area, environmental individual monitoring sites, in what makes this North America's largest environmental monitoring program. North America's largest environmental monitoring program is in Canada's oil sands. And really what's happening there for 8+ years, we've had these monitoring sites gathering data, right? They're looking at plants and animals, fish, and air quality, wetlands, the quantity and quality of groundwater and surface water, really gathering data, making it available for research and analysis, academic research. And really the point of this is to be very transparent, to engage in academic research, to identify the cumulative environmental impacts of the oil sands on the oil sands region and its environment. And what we've seen so far is over 700 papers, academic papers published, and their findings. Those are all available publicly. And all of this goes towards continuous improvement of oil sands performance when it comes to the environment. Again, I would say this is a very Canadian approach. It's all about the environment. Again, North America's most comprehensive, maybe the world's most comprehensive and largest environmental monitoring program. But it's overseen by a governance system that includes the provincial and federal government. It involves all of the industry, all of the producers that are active in the oil sands areas, and communities. I think there's 16 or 17 communities that are involved in the governance, the oversight, and the planning and the coordination of this. So again, it's extreme collaboration, extreme transparency, all about understanding and improving upon the effects on the environment. And boy, I think that's something that's often overlooked, and that's unfortunate. But again, it's something we're very proud of and keen to tell that story. Maybe I'll just close there again by saying thank you so much for your time to hear this story. I think it's a very important one. I think we ought to be very proud of the environmental performance and the improvements in the oil sands. Of course, there's room for improvement. Of course, there's things that we can do better, and we're working to do that. But it's important that we hear these stories, that we hear these examples, that they stick with us, and that when we are discussing the oil sands, or we are reading and hearing about oil sands and their environmental performance, that we remember the commitments and that COSIA exists and the kind of work and the uniqueness of it, and one of a kind in the world that's actually happening in the oil sands. We ought to be very proud of that. So please stay in touch. Please follow us on social media. A lot of these stories, a lot of these examples, we have podcasts and blogs that are out pretty regularly, as well as some very technical academic research reports are available on our website and through social media. So please do stay in touch, and don't hesitate to be in touch if any questions or comments or feedback you'd have for us. Thanks again, Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo, for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wes, for joining our Momentum event. It's pretty incredible to hear of the work that your organization is doing. Now we have a message from Premier Jason Kenney.
Thank you to Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism for the invitation to take part in your Momentum 2020 event. Let me congratulate you on the rebranding and the expansion of your mandate to the board, and my friend Kevin Weidlich, your president, on the important role that you are playing in the economy of Northeast Alberta, really one of the most important parts of the entire Canadian economy. I've been looking at your new branding and your new focus, which highlights that Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo is a place of incredible economic opportunity, a place for families, for innovation, with remarkable Indigenous strength, natural wonder, a strong community spirit, and a place of diversity. I think you've nailed it. Those are exactly some of the key strengths and reputation and brand that reflect the dynamism of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo. Let me say to all of you a word of gratitude on behalf of the government and people of Alberta for being a key engine of our economy. The amount of wealth that has been generated by the resources and, more importantly, the hard work and innovation of the people of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo in recent decades is almost without precedent in human history. Hundreds of billions of dollars of wealth that have been created. I think it's also important. We think about resources when we think of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo, but we need more and more to think about people, because none of those resources would be developed were it not for the spirit of innovation, of the commitment to cutting-edge technology, the spirit of enterprise, and the relentless work ethic. All of it characterized by a culture of excellence. And that is what has driven Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo, not only to be a great creator of wealth, but a great creator of opportunity and of social mobility. You know, around the world, we talk a lot about people being displaced by globalization and by automation, and how that's affected many folks for example, in blue-collar occupations, in places like the U.S. Rust Belt and Southern Ontario. What has Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo represented? It's been a place for folks like that who didn't have a secure job, who were often facing unemployment or underemployment. Tens and tens of thousands of them moved to Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo to pursue opportunity, started families, have had great opportunity, and in many cases started successful new businesses. That is why you are such an important place, not just in Alberta, but Canada, and you should be known for these things globally. So thank you again to Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism. Good luck with your Momentum 2020 event. I want to salute your strong MLAs, Tanny Yao and Layla Goodrich, for their strong representation. Mayor Don Scott and Council, wish you, as we work to get through the COVID crisis and beyond, increasingly focused on economic recovery and resilience, we need you to be part of Team Alberta. Good luck with your deliberations.
Thank you, Premier, for those words. Well, all right, we've mentioned it, and you're probably wondering about this giveaway and what ours entails. We're going to get to that in just a minute, but first, we're going to start with a message from our sponsor, Flair Airlines, and then we're going to head over to the airport, and we're going to hear from RJ Steenstra, who's a board member and president and CEO of the Fort McMurray Airport Authority.
Hi everyone, I hope you're enjoying the Momentum event today. We're really excited to announce that we have a great contest giveaway in partnership with Economic Development and Tourism. You have a chance to win 2 tickets flying from Fort McMurray, but there's more. You actually have a chance to supersize this contest. So if you bring in any friends or family into the region, we're going to up the package another $2,500, which means that you can do an ATV tour, you can do dog sledding, you could do any of the outdoor pursuits that we have in Fort McMurray and really have fun. Now, if you live outside of the region and you win this, you can also take part and you can supersize your event as well, or your giveaway as well. We're really excited about this. The contest opens at noon. Please go to the Economic Development and Tourism website, and good luck.
Thank you, RJ. And just to reiterate, at noon, that's 12 o'clock, you can head to our website, choosewoodbuffalo.ca, and you can enter the contest there. Good luck to you. Well, that about brings us to the end of our event today, and we'll hear from Kevin and his final words in just 1 minute. But before we get to that, I want to say quickly a big thank you to Neville Video Productions. They've been incredible to work with, and they've been able to change on a dime. So just a big thank you to them. I will now pass things over for a final word to Kevin Weidlich.
As I always say, economic development is a team sport. We need every employer in every sector to participate in our regional labor study survey. We also need to support our airport and to use our new direct service flights to Vancouver and Toronto. offered by Flair Airlines. Please complete the feedback survey, which will be posted in the chat below, as well as on our website. My email is on the screen, so you can send me any questions or concerns directly. Media are encouraged to join a live scrum at 12:15 today through a Zoom link that will also be provided on our Facebook page. This coming year, we're certainly not taking our foot off the gas. Our priorities for 2021 will continue our momentum on aggressively pursuing targeted business attraction, executing a focused meetings and convention strategy, building the momentum of Startup YMM, and promoting our region's place brand. But we need your help. The place brand goes far deeper than a name change, a logo, or a campaign. Each and every one of us has a role to play. What you say and share about Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo as community leaders and ambassadors matters. We must work in lockstep to awaken Canada to the importance of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo. Thank you again for tuning in today. I wish you and your families health and happiness during this holiday season.